When Mars, the fiery red planet of action, courage, and aggression, moves into its own sign Scorpio from October 27th to December 7th, 2025, it marks one of the most intense and transformative planetary transits of the year. It is essential to note that these interpretations are based on Sidereal or Vedic Astrology, which accounts for the approximately 24-degree difference with the tropical zodiac. Scorpio is a water sign ruled by Mars and Ketu, a domain of secrets, transformation, depth, and hidden power. Mars here is in its full dignity and strength, expressing its true warrior energy through the area of emotions, research, and mystery. Scorpio is also a sign of instability and inner turbulence, representing the undercurrents of the human psyche. So, while Mars gains strength in its own domain, it must navigate the chaotic, unpredictable, and sometimes dark waters of Scorpio. This combination brings both empowerment and emotional upheaval, demanding courage, patience, and spiritual awareness. During this transit, Mars will be joined by several other key planets, creating an intense stellium in Scorpio. Mercury will already be present in Scorpio, and will go retrograde on November 10th before moving back into Libra on November 23rd. The Sun, debilitated in Libra until November 16th, will join Mars and Mercury in Scorpio, adding heat, ego, and vitality to this already charged sign. Venus too will enter Scorpio on November 26th, forming conjunction with Mars and the Sun. This planetary clustering will create an energetic overload in one area of life, the house where Scorpio falls in your chart. Whenever too many fiery or malefic planets occupy one sign, it amplifies restlessness and volatility, leading to rapid changes and unexpected developments. This makes late October through December a highly active, eventful period where we are forced to confront truths, purge toxic patterns, and rebuild stronger emotional foundations. Adding to this dynamic backdrop, Saturn remains retrograde in Pisces during this transit, and turns direct on November 28th. Saturn's position in a trinal water sign from Scorpio creates a deep emotional undercurrent, where introspection and endurance are required. Saturn in Pisces urges us to surrender to divine timing, while Mars in Scorpio pushes us to act and take control, creating a spiritual and psychological tug-of-war between surrender and assertion. Meanwhile, Jupiter transits exalted in Cancer, casting a powerful trine aspect upon Scorpio, blessing this otherwise turbulent period with wisdom, faith, and the ability to channel Mars' intensity constructively. Jupiter's influence will be important in balancing aggression with understanding and giving purpose to the transformation Mars seeks to ignite. As Jupiter turns retrograde on November 11th, inner growth will take precedence over external expansion. This means that Mars' energy in Scorpio will likely manifest through internal battles, psychological breakthroughs, and deep emotional cleansing rather than outward aggression alone. Scorpio, being the 8th sign of the zodiac, naturally resonates with the themes of rebirth, secrecy, sudden change, and mysticism. Mars here becomes the investigator, the protector, and the spiritual warrior. People will feel drawn toward discovering hidden truths, whether in their relationships, careers, or yourselves. There is a natural inclination toward research, psychology, and the occult. Mystical and spiritual seekers may experience powerful awakenings or deeper contact with their subconscious mind. Mars in Scorpio also represents suppressed anger, emotional intensity, and a tendency toward control. This is a period when buried emotions can erupt suddenly, much like a volcano, forcing people to confront what has been hidden or ignored. It is a powerful time for inner transformation, but only if one is willing to let go of the illusion of control and allow change to happen naturally. Mars in Scorpio also influences the collective energy on a global scale. This transit can heighten military tensions, power struggles, and conflicts related to secrecy, espionage, or hidden agendas. In personal life, it may manifest as confrontations, emotional confrontations, or sudden shifts in power dynamics. The 4th, 7th, and 8th aspects of Mars during this period play an important role in shaping these outcomes. Mars' 4th aspect on Aquarius, where Rahu is currently transiting, can bring instability in social and political circles, sudden shifts in community alliances, or technological controversies. Its 7th aspect on Taurus can bring tension in partnerships, financial dealings, and material security, while the 8th aspect on Gemini may expose hidden information or trigger unexpected events involving communication, contracts, or travel. The conjunctions formed during this period are equally significant. The Sun-Mars-Mercury conjunction in Scorpio symbolizes fiery communication and heated debates. It can make people outspoken, impulsive, and bold in expressing their opinions, sometimes leading to arguments or verbal conflicts. This conjunction enhances one's mental stamina and determination, but if not managed well, it can also manifest as harshness or aggressive communication. Later, when Venus joins this conjunction, the tone shifts toward passion and desire but also potential conflict in relationships. Venus in Scorpio with Mars and the Sun intensifies attraction and emotional bonding but can also create dominance issues, ego clashes, and possessiveness in romantic matters. Relationships may go through periods of turbulence, but they can also experience profound renewal if both partners are willing to face truth and vulnerability together. At its core, Mars transit through Scorpio is about confronting our fears and regaining control over our emotional depths. It teaches us that real strength lies not in external aggression but in mastering our inner storms. Those engaged in research, healing, or mystical practices will thrive during this phase as Mars provides immense focus and willpower to uncover what lies beneath the surface. This same energy can turn destructive if directed toward conflict or revenge. The lesson of this transit is to channel passion into purpose, to transform raw intensity into conscious action. By the time Mars leaves Scorpio on December 7th, many people will have gone through a symbolic inner cleansing. It may not be an easy journey, but it will be profoundly empowering. The chaos Scorpio brings is never meaningless. It serves as a divine catalyst for renewal. It's crucial to perceive Mars as the planet of action. Wherever it transits in the chart or during transit, it ignites activity in matters associated with that specific house. If Mars is well positioned in the chart and during transit, it also takes on the role of a defender or protector, safeguarding the affairs related to the house it influences. To accurately assess the impact of these transits, it is crucial to consider your ascendant and moon signs. The ascendant sign offers insights into the timing of life events, while the moon sign reveals how you will emotionally respond to these changes. Take into account the position of your current Maha-dasha lord in your birth chart, as it can shed light on how these transits will influence the recurring themes of your current dasha period. This transit may manifest differently for each individual, and how they navigate this transit will depend on their personal charts. A more precise understanding of the impact of this transit can be gained by examining Mars's Ashtakavarga score in Scorpio. Keep in mind that the effects of this transit are contingent on Mars's interaction with the planets in individual birth charts. It's also worth noting that individuals currently experiencing the influence of Mars Dasha may feel the effects of this transit more intensely. To understand how this transit may affect you based on your zodiac sign and the houses it transits, let's delve into those specifics. For Aries, Mars, the chart ruler and planet of courage and action, transits its own sign, Scorpio, the 8th house of transformation, secrets, and inner strength. This is a deeply charged phase that activates hidden layers of life, urging profound self-examination and change. The 8th house governs crisis, rebirth, shared resources, research, and emotional depth. When the 1st house lord moves here, life takes on intensity and unpredictability. Mars links the self, 1st house, with hidden power, 8th, pulling buried fears, attachments, and insecurities to the surface. Though uncomfortable, this transit empowers you to face the truth and rebuild stronger foundations. Mars in Scorpio operates at full strength, combining determination with emotional depth. Yet Scorpio's water nature makes this energy inward and psychological. You'll wrestle with feelings you can't easily rationalize. Unexpected events may challenge stability, revealing what must change. There could be sudden turns in career, finances, or emotional life, but Mars grants the resilience to endure and evolve. It strengthens your willpower, courage, and the ability to regenerate after crisis, making this a testing yet empowering period. Throughout this transit, Mars forms conjunctions with Mercury, the Sun, and Venus, each shaping the experience differently. Mercury will already be in Scorpio as Mars enters and turns retrograde on November 10th, returning to Libra on November 23rd. The Mars-Mercury union heightens intellect, intuition, and investigative curiosity, excellent for research, strategy, or occult study, but it can also make speech sharp and confrontational. Misunderstandings or emotional reactions may surface. Clarity and honesty are essential. In relationships, communication must be handled gently, as secrets or suspicion could otherwise spark conflict. The Sun joins Mars in Scorpio on November 16th, bringing vitality and ambition but also ego tension. The Sun represents authority and self-expression. Together with Mars, it amplifies drive and determination. You may seek recognition or power, striving to uncover truths in professional or personal settings. This combination can ignite clashes with superiors or partners if pride dominates. The 8th house often exposes hidden motives, urging introspection about your intentions, whether you act from empowerment or defensiveness. Physically, this energy can strain your system, so maintaining rest and balance is vital. Watch blood pressure, inflammation, and stress-related fatigue. Venus enters Scorpio on November 26th, blending passion and intensity with emotional sensitivity. Relationships become consuming and transformative, revealing desires for deep emotional merging but also potential control dynamics. Passion may rekindle in committed partnerships, while others might confront hidden resentments. Venus presence also ties to shared wealth and assets. There can be inheritance, joint finance opportunities, or disputes over property. Financial transparency and trust are key, as Mars and the Sun's fiery energy can spark power struggles if not managed with patience. Mars' natural aspects add more dimensions. From Scorpio, its 4th aspect falls on Aquarius, where Rahu transits, activating sudden developments in friendships, networks, or social platforms. Rahu's influence amplifies unpredictability. Avoid impulsive alliances or public reactions. Mars' 7th aspect is on Taurus, influencing partnerships and finances, intensifying assertiveness and the need to redefine boundaries in close relations or business collaborations. On a material level, this aspect sharpens focus on shared assets, taxes, or debts, prompting financial discipline. Its 8th aspect to Gemini affects mental balance and communication patterns, enhancing curiosity and analysis but also causing overthinking or anxiety if emotions aren't channeled constructively. Meditation, study, or creative focus will help stabilize this restless energy. Saturn, retrograding in Pisces in your 12th house until November 28th, links with Mars. 8th house journey to create karmic cleansing. This combination stirs subconscious fears and unfinished emotional residue. Solitude, reflection, and release are vital. Saturn's eventual direct motion helps stabilize inner peace and closure. You may confront patterns from the past that no longer serve your growth, freeing yourself from hidden guilt or attachments. Jupiter exalted in Cancer, your 4th house, brings a balancing influence. Its aspect to Scorpio offers emotional support and higher guidance amid Mars' turbulence. Even when life feels intense, Jupiter's grace infuses healing and perspective. Its retrograde motion on November 11th turns focus inward, helping you rediscover security through faith, introspection, and family connection. Jupiter's aspect also tempers Mars' aggression, encouraging regeneration instead of destruction. Emotional healing, spiritual study, and psychological insight flourish under this alignment. Health demands special attention now. The 8th house governs chronic or hidden conditions, so preventive care is essential. Mars may bring inflammation, accidents, or reproductive strain if energy isn't grounded. Yet being in its own sign also grants vitality and recovery power. Detoxification, physical or emotional, will be beneficial. Activities like swimming or meditation can release pent-up energy and restore balance. Listening to your body's signals ensures this transit becomes a period of renewal rather than exhaustion. Professionally, Mars in the 8th house may work behind the scenes, guiding you toward investigative, research-based, or strategic projects. Those in fields like healing, psychology, finance, or technology may see breakthroughs. Sudden changes at work or restructuring can initially unsettle but later reveal new purpose. Mars' Scorpio strength supports deep focus, persistence, and the courage to tackle complex issues others avoid. Hidden opportunities may emerge from crisis situations, rewarding patience and resilience. Financially, this transit emphasizes shared income, inheritance, taxes, and debt management. Sudden expenses or financial revelations are possible, but Mars provides the will to handle them decisively. Venus' later influence adds potential gains through partnerships or family wealth if handled transparently. Avoid risky ventures or spending. Long-term stability depends on integrity and discipline. Emotionally, Mars in Scorpio pushes you to confront suppressed anger, desire, or attachment. Psychological transformation is inevitable. You're being stripped of illusions that once provided security. Fear of loss, betrayal, or vulnerability may surface, but facing these emotions brings liberation. The more you resist change, the more intense the turbulence. Acceptance transforms crisis into empowerment. This transit encourages releasing emotional toxins and emerging more self-aware and fearless. By the time Mars completes its journey through Scorpio on December 7th, you will have undergone profound inner change. What once felt threatening or secret will become a source of empowerment. Challenges faced now reveal your endurance and authenticity. Professionally, you gain sharper focus and strategic skill. Personally, you release fears that once limited you. This transit is an initiation, testing strength, courage, and faith. Through confrontation with the hidden, you emerge renewed, wiser, and more powerful. For Taurus, the transit of Mars in Scorpio holds deep significance as Mars governs your 12th and 7th houses, the domains of relationships, partnerships, marriage, foreign lands, expenditures, and hidden energies. Scorpio represents your 7th house of partnerships, unions, contracts, and public image. Mars, being a natural significator of passion, drive, and assertion, enters its own sign Scorpio, becoming extremely powerful, magnetic, and intense. This period can trigger transformative experiences in your relationships and professional collaborations, demanding honesty, emotional courage, and balance between control and compromise. As Mars transits here, you will experience a surge in charisma and confidence in how you deal with others, yet this same energy can also spark conflicts or power struggles if not handled wisely. This Mars transit will be further intensified by the conjunctions it forms with Mercury, the Sun, and Venus during its stay in Scorpio. These planetary combinations will bring a mixture of assertiveness, communication, and attraction into your relationships. When Mars aligns with Mercury, your words will become more direct, powerful, and at times cutting. It is a time when conversations can turn confrontational, especially with your spouse, partner, or business associates. You may feel compelled to speak your truth, but you must guard against impulsive or harsh language that could strain ties. When Mars joins the Sun, the combination of ego and assertion can amplify tension in your marriage or partnerships, bringing old, buried issues to the surface. This is a time when your confidence in dealing with others increases, but it may also make you more dominating or less patient with those who disagree with you. On the other hand, when Mars conjoins Venus, passion and attraction will rise dramatically. For many Taurus individuals, this will reignite the spark in romantic or marital life, but for some, it can also bring a love-hate dynamic where desire and conflict intertwine. The 7th house Mars energy often manifests externally, meaning your life events during this period are likely to be influenced by other people's actions. You may find yourself drawn to people who are strong-willed, intense, or emotionally deep. There may also be new partnerships or collaborations forming in business, though they might involve power negotiations or competition. In married life, Mars in Scorpio can stir both passion and friction. It can create strong emotional bonds, but it may also expose insecurities or suppressed resentments that need healing. This is a period to work on emotional honesty and avoid secrecy or manipulation, as Scorpio energy tends to magnify hidden motives. Transparency will be your greatest ally. Because Mars rules your 12th house as well, this transit connects the 7th and 12th houses, a combination that often brings karmic tests in relationships. Some Taurus individuals might find themselves facing distance or emotional detachment from a partner, especially if communication has been lacking. For others, this could be a time when old patterns of sacrifice or overgiving in relationships must end. The 12th house connection can also make you introspective about your partnerships. You might retreat inward to understand what truly matters in your emotional world. For those involved in international connections or business ventures with foreign clients, this period could bring heightened activity, travel opportunities, or negotiations that involve high stakes. Jupiter's exalted transit in Cancer adds an immensely protective and auspicious influence to this otherwise intense phase. From your 3rd house, Jupiter aspects Scorpio, blessing your 7th house of partnerships and helping you navigate conflicts with maturity and wisdom. While Mars pushes you to confront and transform, Jupiter provides emotional intelligence, optimism, and divine support. This Jupiterian energy encourages you to communicate with compassion, to listen, and to forgive. It also enhances your persuasive abilities, making this an excellent period for signing important agreements, public speaking, or launching new ventures. As Jupiter turns retrograde on November 11th, the pace of growth in partnerships may slow temporarily. There might be a need to review commitments, reassess alliances, or revisit conversations that were previously left unresolved. Jupiter retrograde will help you look at the deeper lessons of relationships, allowing healing and expansion to take place from within. Saturn, retrograding in Pisces in your 11th house, continues to test your long-term goals and social connections. This Saturn influence blends with Mars transit to create a balancing act between ambition and relationship responsibility. While Mars pushes you to assert yourself in one-on-one connections, Saturn in the 11th asks you to take responsibility for your larger networks and long-term plans. It reminds you that your success is tied to how well you cooperate and maintain discipline in teamwork. As Saturn turns direct on November 28th, many of your stalled projects or alliances may start moving forward again. On a professional front, this Mars transit can bring powerful growth, especially for those involved in partnerships, consulting, law, business negotiations, or client-based professions. Mars in Scorpio increases your magnetism and leadership in dealing with others, allowing you to command respect. Because Mars is fiery and competitive, you may also encounter rivals or individuals who challenge your authority. How you respond to such dynamics will determine the outcome. If you handle these energies with composure, this transit can help you strengthen your professional reputation and win valuable allies. For entrepreneurs, this is an excellent time to launch or restructure partnerships, though you must remain vigilant about hidden agendas or miscommunications. In love and marriage, the influence of Mars in Scorpio can be both thrilling and volatile. Passion, attraction, and intimacy will deepen, but emotional sensitivity will also heighten. You and your partner may experience strong emotional exchanges that test your trust. If your relationship is stable, this period can deepen your bond and rekindle romance. If unresolved issues linger, this transit can push both of you toward confrontation or even separation unless handled with maturity. For single Taurus individuals, this is a time when you might attract someone magnetic, mysterious, and emotionally intense, someone who challenges your comfort zone and transforms your perspective on love. Mars in Scorpio pushes you to explore your subconscious desires and fears around intimacy, power, and control. The 7th house being the mirror of the self, your interactions with others now reflect what you need to heal within yourself. This can be a profoundly cathartic time if you're willing to face truths without judgment. It's also a period that demands emotional resilience, learning to express anger or frustration in constructive ways rather than suppressing them. Health-wise, Mars in the 7th house may make you prone to stress from relationship tensions or overexertion in work partnerships. It's important to balance physical and emotional well-being by engaging in calming practices, maintaining a proper routine, and avoiding overindulgence. Overall, the Mars transit in Scorpio for Taurus individuals is a phase of transformation through relationships, a time to redefine how you connect, commit, and cooperate. Jupiter's exalted aspect offers immense growth potential, while Saturn's grounding energy ensures stability in long-term goals. If navigated consciously, this period can help you build deeper, more authentic partnerships and emerge with greater clarity about your personal and professional path. For Gemini, Mars transit through Scorpio brings a powerful and transformative period focused on work, service, and self-mastery. Mars governs your 6th and 11th houses, representing health, daily routines, competition, debts, colleagues, and gains through effort, and now transits its own sign, Scorpio, your 6th house. This gives Mars exceptional strength, empowering you to tackle life's challenges head-on. The 6th house is a field of conflict and resilience, and with Mars strong here, you'll find yourself equipped with courage, focus, and endurance to handle pressure effectively. Whether in your career, studies, or health matters, you'll experience a surge of motivation and drive. Mars in Scorpio also heightens emotional intensity, so learning to direct this energy constructively will be vital. Impulsive actions or anger could otherwise lead to clashes with colleagues or authority figures. This is one of the most productive placements for Mars, as it encourages you to face problems rather than avoid them. You may feel more determined than ever to conquer obstacles at work or resolve long-standing issues with coworkers. Your ability to analyze situations, identify root causes, and strategize solutions will sharpen, making you more efficient and competitive. Emotional reactivity could make you take criticism personally or act defensively. The best way to harness this energy is through disciplined action and mindfulness. Pausing before reacting will help prevent unnecessary conflict. When Mars aligns with Mercury, your ruling planet, communication becomes bold, decisive, and assertive. You'll express your thoughts with confidence and conviction, making this an excellent phase for debates, writing, or research work. Yet, since this pairing can also lead to verbal disputes, be cautious with tone and timing. Mercury's retrograde in Scorpio on November 10th heightens the need for careful communication. Misunderstandings, delays, or technical glitches could arise in the workplace. It's wise to double-check emails, contracts, and meeting details. This retrograde encourages reevaluation of work habits, health routines, and communication strategies. The conjunction of Mars and the Sun amplifies your willpower and leadership qualities. You'll want to assert authority and make bold moves in your career. This can be empowering but also prone to ego clashes, especially if you feel undervalued or restricted by superiors. Balance assertiveness with humility to maintain harmony. Later, when Mars meets Venus, passion and creativity enter your work environment. This influence enhances teamwork, charm, and magnetism, making it easier to negotiate, collaborate, and attract support. The Venus-Mars combination may even spark romantic energy in the workplace or inspire you to start a creative or fitness-related project that boosts morale. Jupiter's exalted transit in Cancer brings immense blessings to this phase. From your second house, Jupiter aspects Scorpio, offering protection, wisdom, and financial support. Even in moments of stress or rivalry, Jupiter ensures you rise above with grace and intelligence. It enhances your capacity to manage debts, organize resources, and achieve material progress. Financially, this is a time to stabilize your income through persistence and discipline. Jupiter's retrograde from November 11th may temporarily slow expansion but will help you refine your approach to savings, budgeting, and value systems. You might revisit past financial plans or reassess how you balance work with well-being. Jupiter's wisdom here reminds you that true abundance comes through service and meaningful effort, not haste or competition alone. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces, your 10th house, adds a serious and disciplined tone to your professional life. Mars and Saturn form a powerful, goal-oriented dynamic, one that demands focus and responsibility. You may feel intense pressure from superiors or deal with high expectations, but this combination ultimately strengthens your resilience. Saturn retrograde has been testing your patience, teaching you to build success slowly and ethically. When Saturn turns direct on November 28th, you'll notice greater momentum in your career. Projects that felt delayed will start moving again, and recognition for your hard work will follow. Career-wise, this period holds excellent potential. Mars' influence makes you assertive, ambitious, and action-oriented. You'll want to take charge, initiate new projects, and demonstrate your capability. Your competitive spirit will be at its peak, a strong motivator for promotions or achievements. It's equally important to avoid overexertion or unnecessary conflicts. The 6th house also governs rivalry, so you may attract opposition at work. Rather than seeing this as a setback, treat it as motivation to perform better. For those in professions involving medicine, law, defense, sports, or crisis management, this transit can be especially favorable, enhancing your stamina and focus. On the health front, Mars in the 6th house boosts vitality, but also increases the risk of overwork or burnout. Since Scorpio governs deep transformation, your body may respond strongly to emotional stress. This makes rest and balance essential. Mars can cause inflammation, fatigue, or headaches if energy isn't properly released, so maintaining a disciplined exercise routine will help. Mercury's retrograde phase highlights the nervous system. Avoid overthinking or overindulgence in stimulants like caffeine. The 6th house also rules diet and habits, so adopting cleaner routines, detoxifying, and focusing on immunity will be highly beneficial. Financially, Mars' dual rulership of the 6th and 11th houses connects your hard work directly with material rewards. You'll be motivated to increase income, pay off debts, and secure long-term stability. The combination of Mars and Jupiter favors improvement through persistence and wisdom. Impulsive decisions should be avoided, particularly under Mercury retrograde, which could create confusion in money management. Investments made after careful analysis will yield good results, but speculative risks should be minimized. Emotionally, Mars in Scorpio triggers deep internal transformation. The 6th house not only deals with outer enemies but also with inner ones, doubts, fears, or mental blocks. This transit pushes you to confront self-sabotaging habits and break patterns that drain your energy. You may undergo emotional detox, releasing resentment or healing from past disappointments. Scorpio's influence makes this a psychologically revealing time. You'll crave authenticity and may feel drawn to introspection, therapy, or spiritual practices that promote healing. Relationships, especially within your work environment, may go through shifts. Mars and Mercury's conjunctions make communication intense and direct, which can clarify hidden tensions. Some partnerships may strengthen through honesty, while others dissolve if they lack transparency. With Venus joining Mars later, charm and reconciliation become possible, especially after any temporary misunderstandings. Overall, Mars transit through Scorpio for Gemini individuals signifies victory through persistence. It's a time to refine discipline, assert authority, and develop mastery over your craft. The combination of Jupiter's blessings, Saturn's grounding, and Mars' determination ensures long-term rewards for consistent effort. While challenges may test your patience, they'll ultimately transform your confidence and competence. For Cancer, Mars transit in Scorpio is a deeply charged and transformative period. Mars rules your 10th house of career and authority as well as your 5th house of creativity, intelligence, children, and romance. As Scorpio governs your 5th house, a trine of Dharma, Mars' movement through its own sign ignites your inner fire, determination, and emotional strength. It fuels your creative intelligence, inspiring you to take decisive action in self-expression, relationships, and professional direction. You'll feel driven to excel and to manifest ideas with intensity and purpose. This same passion can also make you impatient or controlling, so balance and mindfulness are vital. The 5th house governs creativity, education, speculation, and romantic expression. Mars' energy here enhances courage, helping you take calculated risks in business, academics, or love. You may finally act on ideas you've postponed or take leadership in a creative or intellectual pursuit. Those with children will feel more protective or involved in their growth, though it's important not to become overbearing. Students or professionals in demanding fields will benefit from improved concentration, making this an ideal period for competitive exams or complex projects. Mars empowers initiative, ambition, and the confidence to trust your instincts. Mars conjunctions with Mercury, the Sun, and Venus throughout its Scorpio transit amplify this energy. When Mars aligns with Mercury, your communication gains sharpness and conviction. You'll express ideas persuasively, but your tone may become too direct or argumentative if unchecked. When Mars joins the Sun, confidence and leadership surge, strengthening your ability to stand out and gain recognition. Pride and ego clashes may surface, so humility is key. The Mars-Venus conjunction adds charm, passion, and magnetism, heightening attraction in relationships and creative expression. This union can deepen love or spark new connections, but it also brings emotional volatility. Awareness and self-control will help you channel this power productively. Since Mars also rules your 10th house, this transit directly links your career to creativity and intellect. Professional success now depends on how effectively you apply your innovative thinking and leadership. Recognition, promotions, or increased authority may come, especially in fields connected with education, design, entertainment, media, or entrepreneurship. Many Cancers will feel inspired to start something new or take bold professional steps that redefine their future. Scorpio's intensity can also lead to impulsive risks, so decisions should be carefully evaluated. Courage must be balanced with strategy. Jupiter's exalted transit in Cancer provides powerful protection and wisdom during this fiery phase. From your 1st house, Jupiter aspects Scorpio, blessing your 5th house of love, children, and creativity. Even when Mars triggers restlessness or emotional extremes, Jupiter ensures grace, vision, and maturity. It helps you focus on meaningful goals instead of short-lived desires. Your intuition strengthens, allowing you to make choices aligned with long-term happiness. When Jupiter turns retrograde on November 11th, introspection increases. You may re-examine ambitions, romantic commitments, or academic pursuits to ensure they align with your higher purpose. This retrograde guides you to refine your vision before taking further action. Meanwhile, Saturn's retrograde in Pisces brings grounding and perspective. From your 9th house of philosophy and higher learning, Saturn tempers Mars' impulsive drive with wisdom and caution. It reminds you that lasting success comes from patience and structure. The push-pull between Mars' passion and Saturn's discipline will test your ability to balance enthusiasm with realism. As Saturn turns direct on November 28th, delayed educational, legal, or professional developments begin to progress again. Its aspects on your 11th, 3rd, and 6th houses enhance determination, steady work habits, and practical results, supporting your broader ambitions. Romantically, Mars in Scorpio heightens emotion, passion, and attraction. If you're single, an intense new connection could emerge under the Mars-Venus influence, sparking excitement and transformation. These relationships are magnetic but may also bring power struggles or emotional challenges that reveal deeper truths about love. For those already committed, this period rekindles desire and intimacy, but emotional volatility or jealousy may need managing through honesty and patience. Mars in Scorpio demands authentic communication. Superficial bonds won't survive this intensity. True love deepens, while weaker ties dissolve. Children also become an important focus. You'll feel deeply connected to their growth and may actively guide or discipline them. Mars can make children more energetic or rebellious, so gentle structure works better than strictness. Encouraging independence while maintaining boundaries brings harmony. For parents, this is a time to strengthen emotional understanding within the family and support creative or educational pursuits. Financially, Mars transit can bring both gains and risks. The connection between the 5th and 10th houses supports prosperity through leadership, innovation, and creative projects. Opportunities for income through business, performance, or speculative ventures may arise, but Scorpio's impulsive streak demands caution. Jupiter's aspect stabilizes finances, ensuring steady progress through effort and wisdom. Avoid high-risk investments or emotional spending, and instead focus on sustainable growth. Some expenses related to children, education, or hobbies may occur but could prove valuable long-term. In health matters, Mars in Scorpio heightens vitality and endurance but can also increase stress if emotional tension builds. Since the 5th house relates to the heart and emotions, managing passion and anxiety becomes important. Physical activity, meditation, and artistic outlets will help release excess energy and maintain balance. As Jupiter retrogrades, occasional fatigue or mood swings may occur, making rest and mindfulness essential. Emotional awareness will prevent burnout and support overall well-being. This transit activates your 5th house of past life merit and intelligence. Mars awakens latent potential and brings karmic rewards for past efforts. Actions now carry strong consequences, positive if your intentions are pure, challenging if driven by ego or impulsiveness. Scorpio's energy encourages emotional healing, self-mastery, and courage to confront your inner shadows. Creative expression or heartfelt service can become channels for transformation, helping you discover strength and purpose beyond material success. Overall, Mars transit in Scorpio for Cancer individuals is a time of empowerment, courage, and creative awakening. It demands authenticity in expression and emotional integrity in love and leadership. With exalted Jupiter guiding your intuition and Saturn grounding your aspirations, you can achieve great progress without losing balance. This phase is about aligning passion with wisdom, translating dreams into tangible results, and letting your emotional intensity fuel purposeful creation. For Leo, Mars transit in Scorpio from October 27th to December 7th brings profound emotional and psychological transformation. Mars rules your 9th house of fortune and spirituality, and your 4th house of home, emotions, and property. As it moves through its own sign, Scorpio, also your 4th house, it triggers deep introspection about your emotional foundations, domestic life, and sense of inner peace. This fiery yet watery combination pushes you to take control of your private world, but only after facing emotional turbulence and necessary change. Your urge to redefine what makes you feel safe and grounded. Mars in its own sign gives immense strength and focus, but also intensity. For Leo, this can manifest as restlessness at home and a strong desire to restructure or rebuild your domestic environment. You may pursue property deals, renovation projects, or family matters demanding resolution. Mars rules land and construction, so this is favorable for real estate ventures, provided you act with patience and discipline. Scorpio's depth can stir suppressed emotions, bringing old resentments or family conflicts to light, especially involving parents or elders. Confronting these buried feelings can free you from long-held emotional baggage. The 4th house governs mental peace, and Mars' presence can initially disturb it. You may find your mind active or suspicious, craving control over your surroundings. Yet Mars here teaches you to channel emotional intensity into productive action rather than outbursts. Physical activity or home projects help release tension constructively. This transit also calls for emotional honesty, finding strength through vulnerability rather than defense. Mars will conjunct Mercury, the Sun, and Venus during its stay, each bringing distinct influences. When Mars aligns with Mercury, family communication becomes sharp and assertive but can turn heated. Disagreements about home, money, or responsibilities may arise. Still, This alignment enhances focus and decision-making in property or financial matters. The Mars-Sun conjunction boosts your willpower and authority since the Sun is your ruler, amplifying leadership and determination. But it can also heighten ego and resistance to compromise, especially within family settings. When Venus joins Mars, emotional and romantic passion intensifies, blending affection and conflict. You may feel driven to beautify your home or make emotional investments, though expenses could rise. Relationships grow deeper, though balance and patience are key to prevent drama. Jupiter's exalted transit in Cancer, your 12th house, casts a benefic aspect on Scorpio. This softens Mars' heat and provides emotional healing. Jupiter's influence promotes spiritual growth and introspection, guiding you to respond to conflicts with wisdom. Meditation, solitude, and self-study bring understanding and release. When Jupiter turns retrograde on November 11th, inner reflection deepens, helping you process emotions and detach from past wounds. This phase favors forgiveness, emotional detoxification, and reconnection with faith. Meanwhile, Saturn retrograding in Pisces impacts your 8th house of transformation and shared resources. Both Mars and Saturn influence houses of emotional depth, aligning their energies to initiate profound internal change. Saturn's retrograde encourages self-discipline, patience, and acceptance of emotional cycles. It may test your endurance through psychological pressure or complex financial entanglements, but growth will follow. When Saturn turns direct on November 28th, balance gradually returns, grounding your emotions and helping you rebuild stability. Matters of inheritance, investments, or partnerships may move forward with clearer structure and responsibility. Ketu's presence in your sign, Leo, adds another dimension. Ketu represents detachment and spiritual liberation. While Mars in Scorpio urges emotional engagement, Ketu encourages you to release ego attachments and redefine your identity beyond external validation. This tension between desire and detachment can feel confusing. You may crave stability yet seek solitude. Still, Ketu's detachment combined with Mars' transformation creates an awakening. You're learning to let go of control and rediscover inner peace. Professionally, Mars as a natural significator of action and authority influences your 4th house, impacting your career indirectly. You may work from home, manage family business, or focus on property-related ventures. Some Leo individuals might feel compelled to change their work environment due to emotional dissatisfaction or conflict with higher-ups. Mars in Scorpio gives strategic thinking and resilience, qualities that can lead to long-term success if used with integrity. Jupiter's supportive aspect from Cancer aids behind-the-scenes progress, connecting you with spiritual or foreign opportunities that align with your inner calling. This is a time to balance ambition with emotional intelligence. Relationships under this transit become more passionate and emotionally charged. Mars in Scorpio heightens intensity and desire, while the Sun's conjunction can create ego clashes. Balancing dominance and understanding is important. Venus' influence adds warmth and attraction but can also make emotions volatile. Deep emotional conversations and vulnerability can strengthen bonds, provided both partners respect boundaries. If single, you may attract someone magnetic yet emotionally complex. With Ketu in your sign, you may also seek independence and solitude to realign emotionally. The key lesson lies in balancing intimacy with self-awareness, avoiding extremes of attachment or detachment. Health-wise, emotional well-being becomes paramount. The 4th house governs the heart and chest, so stress or unresolved emotions may manifest physically. Mars in Scorpio can heighten internalized tension, leading to restlessness or disturbed sleep. Prioritize exercise, meditation, and grounding routines to maintain equilibrium. Releasing emotional pressure through creative outlets or meditation strengthens both body and mind. Financially, this period can bring opportunities through property, land, or inheritance. Real estate and home improvement projects may prove fruitful if planned wisely. Mars' impulsive nature in Scorpio warns against hasty financial moves driven by emotion. Jupiter's aspect ensures long-term growth through patience and prudence. Expenses related to family or comfort may rise, but they serve meaningful purposes. Focus on sustainable investments rather than quick gains. Overall, Mars transit in Scorpio for Leo individuals brings emotional intensity, domestic transformation, and spiritual growth. It pushes you to confront internal fears, manage emotional volatility, and rebuild your sense of security from within. The conjunctions with Mercury, Sun, and Venus spotlight communication, ego, and relationships, testing patience and emotional maturity. With Jupiter's grace guiding reflection, Saturn's structure enforcing discipline, and Ketu's detachment purifying the ego, this period leads to deep emotional renewal. If you channel Mars' passion into constructive pursuits instead of conflict, you'll emerge from this transit stronger, wiser, and emotionally centered, a phase that reshapes your inner world and strengthens your foundation for the future. For Virgo, Mars transit through Scorpio brings sharp mental focus, dynamic communication, and powerful self-expression. Mars, the planet of drive and determination, rules your 3rd and 8th houses, representing courage, communication, initiative, transformation, and hidden strength. As it moves through its own sign, Scorpio, it activates your 3rd house of efforts, communication, siblings, and short travels. This transit energizes you to take bold steps toward your goals, boosting assertiveness, willpower, and fearlessness. Yet, because Mars also rules your 8th house of secrets, transformation, and sudden change, this period may bring emotionally intense or unpredictable developments, challenging you to evolve and master self-control. Mars in the 3rd house empowers your voice, making communication sharper, persuasive, and impactful. You may feel compelled to speak your mind, initiate projects, or confront situations previously avoided. Scorpio adds depth and strategy. You aim to uncover truth and influence outcomes rather than speak superficially. This is an excellent time for writing, teaching, public speaking, or any work requiring intellectual precision and courage. The intensity can make your words cutting or confrontational. Mars in Scorpio doesn't tolerate superficiality, and dealing with insincere people may test your patience. This transit also enhances action orientation. The 3rd house represents initiative, and Mars here boosts your ability to take charge of your destiny. You may feel renewed confidence to pursue pending projects, launch ideas, learn new skills, or expand your network. Mars in Scorpio favors behind-the-scenes strategy, quiet effectiveness, and long-term gains rather than impulsive action. Motivations are often emotionally charged, coming from a desire to overcome fear, reclaim personal power, or heal past wounds. The 3rd house also governs siblings, neighbors, and your immediate environment. Mars can bring cooperation or conflict depending on how you channel its energy. You may feel protective or competitive with siblings, and underlying tensions may surface for resolution. Interactions with colleagues, neighbors, or peers may intensify. Mars in Scorpio is passionate and unfiltered, so diplomacy is essential to avoid misunderstandings. During this transit, Mars will form conjunctions with Mercury, the Sun, and Venus, each affecting Virgo uniquely. The Mars-Mercury conjunction is potent, as Mercury is your chart ruler, governing intellect and reasoning. This combination sharpens thinking, boosts persuasive power, and strengthens analytical abilities, ideal for research, planning, writing, or negotiations. Yet, words may be assertive or aggressive, and Mercury's retrograde during this period intensifies this effect. Mercury retrogrades in Scorpio on November 10th, moves back into Libra on November 23rd, and turns direct on November 29th. During retrograde, you may need to revisit past conversations, rethink communication style, and manage potential delays or misunderstandings carefully. Impulsive speech or decisions during this phase could create complications. Mars-Sun conjunction enhances confidence, leadership, and courage, increasing ambition but also potential ego clashes or power struggles. In the 3rd house, it makes you willing to take risks, defend beliefs, and assert authority through speech or skills. Balancing confidence with humility is key to avoid friction in personal or professional spheres. Mars-Venus alignment elevates charm, creativity, and persuasive skills. This favors artistic, intellectual, or emotionally deep projects. Relationships may become more passionate, magnetic, or even possessive, particularly in communication and emotional expression. Jupiter's exalted transit in Cancer adds supportive energy. Jupiter aspects Scorpio, blessing your 3rd house with wisdom, optimism, and inspiration. It tempers Mars' aggressive edge and channels drive constructively. Communication carries empathy, purpose, and higher understanding. You may guide, teach, or inspire others, using your voice for meaningful causes. Jupiter turns retrograde on November 11th, shifting focus inward for reflection on long-term goals, communication patterns, or learning processes. Introspection helps prepare for decisive action later. Meanwhile, Saturn retrograding in Pisces, your 7th house of partnerships, brings karmic lessons through collaborations and relationships. It tests patience and maturity, particularly as Mars energizes your communication house. Saturn retrograde may delay commitments or create distance in partnerships, but it teaches discernment and responsibility. When Saturn turns direct on November 28th, clarity returns, helping rebuild trust and structure in relationships. Combined with Mars' assertiveness, this ensures you express yourself powerfully but wisely. Mars as 8th house ruler adds a psychological edge. You may feel drawn to uncover hidden truths, explore occult or healing subjects, and confront fears or emotional wounds. Scorpio's influence enhances intuition and investigative ability. Sudden revelations or secrets may emerge, reshaping perspectives. Professionally, this period is active and ambitious. You'll feel driven to assert authority, showcase skills, and pursue challenges. Ideas carry depth, originality, and intensity, impressing superiors or clients. Teamwork may be challenging if colleagues feel intimidated, so independent or leadership roles are favored. Jupiter's aspect enhances reputation, particularly in writing, communication, or public speaking, supporting success behind the scenes. Financially, Mars encourages bold decisions in business, marketing, or communication. Mercury retrograde warns against impulsive contracts or investments. Patience is essential until November 29th. Mars' 8th house link may bring unexpected gains via shared resources, inheritance, or partnerships if managed ethically. Emotional or domestic expenditures may rise but bring satisfaction. In relationships, communication becomes intense and passionate. You may express long-suppressed feelings or attract intellectually stimulating partners. Mars, Venus can reignite passion but also increase emotional demands. Misunderstandings are possible, especially during Mercury retrograde. Mindful, patient, and empathetic expression strengthens connections. Health-wise, the 3rd house governs shoulders, arms, lungs, and nervous system. Mars can increase stress, restlessness, and mental overactivity. Physical activity and meditation help manage energy and prevent burnout. Avoid multitasking excessively. Scorpio's intensity may heighten obsessive thinking, so grounding routines are essential. Mars as 8th lord in the 3rd house encourages facing fears and expressing suppressed truths. Courage is both external and internal, fostering self-awareness and emotional honesty. Jupiter's guidance and Saturn's discipline help refine communication and align actions with higher purpose. Overall, Mars in Scorpio for Virgo individuals marks a period of mental empowerment, transformation, and renewed confidence. It awakens courage to speak truth, take calculated risks, and face challenges strategically. Conjunctions with Mercury, Sun, and Venus add intellect, confidence, and charm, while Jupiter's aspect ensures wisdom guides efforts. Saturn balances passion with patience, promoting integrity and maturity. This transit tests communication, emotional intelligence, and adaptability, but when navigated with awareness, it fosters significant personal growth, creativity, and self-mastery. For Libra, Mars transit through Scorpio from October 27th to December 7th marks a deeply transformative and financially charged period. Mars, ruler of your 2nd and 7th houses, moves into your 2nd house of wealth, family, speech, and values, its own sign, Scorpio. This combination intensifies your material and emotional world, giving motivation to secure finances, assert values, and express yourself with conviction. Scorpio's influence adds emotional complexity, revealing hidden matters. Mars acts with passion and secrecy, seeking control, power, and stability through effort, while stirring deep familial and emotional undercurrents that demand patience and wisdom. Mars in its own sign in your 2nd house strengthens ambition to build and protect resources. You may feel driven to improve financial status, manage wealth strategically, or assert control over savings. The 2nd house also governs family and self-expression, so heightened activity or tension may arise here. Determination to pursue financial growth can lead to impulsive spending or disagreements, especially involving family or partnerships. Because Mars rules your 7th house of relationships, financial and partnership matters may intertwine, demanding balance and fairness in handling joint resources. Scorpio's emotional depth adds intensity to both money and communication. Mars here encourages direct, assertive speech, sometimes bordering on harshness. Words carry power, enabling persuasion, motivation, or even intimidation. Professions involving negotiation, finance, business, or public speaking can benefit, provided emotional control is maintained. Scorpio also brings secrecy to financial dealings. Behind-the-scenes transactions may occur. While discretion is advantageous, avoid manipulation or concealment that could backfire. During this period, Mars will conjunct Mercury, the Sun, and Venus in Scorpio sequentially, each influencing speech, relationships, and finances differently. The Mars-Mercury conjunction in early November amplifies mental sharpness and verbal assertiveness. Problem-solving skills and negotiation abilities peak. Mercury retrogrades in Scorpio on November 10th, returns to Libra on November 23rd, and turns direct on November 29th. During this time, communication and financial matters can become complicated. Misunderstandings or errors are possible if decisions are rushed or reactions are emotionally driven. Patience and careful verification of all financial matters are important. The Mars-Sun conjunction in mid-November heightens ambition and confidence but can inflate ego or provoke power struggles within family or professional spheres. The second house, associated with family legacy, may bring disputes with relatives over property, inheritance, or values. Positively, it energizes you to assert leadership in financial or business matters and take bold steps toward stability. Guard against hasty speech or pride-dominating sensitive discussions. Later, Venus joins Mars and the Sun toward the end of November, harmonizing the energy. Venus, your chart ruler, enhances charm, magnetism, and creative potential. This phase improves your ability to attract resources, form beneficial alliances, and stabilize emotional connections. It favors income growth through creative or partnership ventures. Indulgence or luxury spending may rise, so moderation is advised. Venus, Mars energy heightens romantic passion, while the second house focus makes emotional security and shared values central to sustaining relationships. Jupiter's exalted transit in Cancer adds a strong, supportive influence. From your 10th house of career and reputation, Jupiter aspects Scorpio, blessing your second house with prosperity, growth, and wisdom in managing wealth. Strategic financial decisions and long-term stability are favored. Professional recognition or rewards for past efforts are possible. Jupiter tempers Mars' intensity, helping channel assertive energy constructively. When Jupiter turns retrograde on November 11th, it signals introspection regarding career and financial goals. Reassessing long-term plans ensures alignment with emotional fulfillment and ethical grounding. Saturn in Pisces, your 6th house of work, service, and health, adds responsibility and realism. Retrograde until November 28th, it may have heightened work or health burdens. Mars in the 2nd house encourages decisive action to resolve these issues. Once Saturn turns direct, discipline and persistence pay off, particularly in professional and financial matters. Saturn ensures progress made during Mars transit is sustainable when approached with patience and structure. On the personal front, Mars' rulership of the 7th house highlights significant activity in relationships. Emotional honesty and intensity mark partnerships. Committed Libra individuals may experience passionate reconnection but also heated discussions over finances or family decisions. Singles may attract assertive, emotionally magnetic, or karmically significant partners, though they could be possessive or demanding. Scorpio's influence draws fated connections that test emotional depth and honesty. Balancing Mars' fiery energy with Venus' diplomacy and Jupiter's wisdom is key. Emotionally, this transit teaches self-awareness and control. The 2nd house governs not only material wealth but emotional nourishment and security. Mars may trigger buried insecurities, urging you to confront self-worth issues and develop independence from external validation. Defending values or asserting independence may cause temporary friction but ultimately strengthens self-respect and clarifies priorities. Health-wise, the 2nd house connects to throat, mouth, and speech organs. Mars can cause inflammation or issues if verbal overexertion or suppressed anger occurs. Mindfulness, hydration, and moderation in stimulating foods help maintain balance. Mars' 7th house rulership links emotional harmony and partnerships to physical and mental well-being. Financially, this is an active period. Mars drives earning, investing, and wealth accumulation, while Jupiter's aspect supports growth and protection. New income streams, business partnerships, or investments are possible. Mercury retrograde requires caution with contracts, property, or large expenditures. Avoid impulsive financial moves between November 10th and 29th, waiting for Mercury's direct motion to ensure clarity. Spiritually, Mars in Scorpio invites reflection on true values, beyond material concerns, extending to emotional and moral dimensions. Conjunctions with Mercury, Sun, and Venus signify transformation in speech, feelings, and self-expression. Jupiter ensures alignment with higher ideals rather than fleeting impulses. By the end of Mars Scorpio transit in December, Libra individuals will likely feel empowered, self-reliant, and financially aware. Challenges faced, family discussions, financial planning, or communication, will strengthen emotional resilience and clarify priorities. This transit teaches that true wealth lies in inner stability and confidence, not possessions or external validation. Combined with Jupiter's wisdom and Saturn's grounding influence, Mars in Scorpio becomes a powerful ally in rebuilding financial and emotional foundations with renewed strength, purpose, and integrity. For Scorpio, Mars transit through your own sign marks one of the most defining periods of the year. Mars, your ruling planet, governs both your first house and sixth house of competition, work, service, and health. When it returns to your sign, it reawakens physical energy, ambition, and willpower, activating every area of life, mindset, goals, relationships, and personal drive. This is a time of self-renewal and transformation, where courage and determination allow you to take control of your destiny. Mars in Scorpio carries intense emotional energy, which can feel like walking through fire, burning away weakness, fear, and confusion, ultimately leaving you stronger, sharper, and more self-aware. Mars in your first house enhances presence and vitality. You project confidence, assertiveness, and magnetic energy, making others respond strongly, some admiring, some intimidated. Leadership qualities and independence are emphasized. You're less inclined to seek approval, following instincts and taking bold initiatives. The first house represents your body, self-image, and personal direction. Mars grants renewed purpose and drive. Yet, this energy can make you impatient or confrontational if not channeled constructively. Scorpio's emotional depth magnifies every reaction, so mindfulness of impulsive actions and sharp words is essential. Since Mars also rules your sixth house, this transit brings a warrior-like approach to daily life. You become adept at overcoming obstacles, asserting control over challenges, and thriving in competitive environments. This phase is excellent for professional growth, especially in leadership, strategy, investigation, or defense. Yet, competitiveness can verge on combative behavior, so balancing assertiveness with cooperation is important to avoid clashes at work or in relationships. Physically, Mars strengthens stamina and resilience, but also incites restlessness and irritability. You'll feel driven to act and achieve goals quickly. Unexpressed energy can lead to frustration, inflammation, fever, or stress-related fatigue. Channeling Mars through disciplined routines, exercise, structured work, or creative pursuits ensures productive output. Scorpio's transformative nature makes this an ideal period for physical and emotional detox, releasing suppressed anger and tension for renewed vitality. The transit is further energized by conjunctions with Mercury, the Sun, and Venus. Mars, Mercury heightens mental sharpness and communication intensity. Your thoughts and words carry greater conviction, making you outspoken, analytical, and persuasive. Mercury retrogrades in Scorpio on November 10th, moving back into Libra on November 23rd and turning direct on November 29th. During this phase, hasty decisions or arguments may arise. It's a favorable time for introspection, revising strategies, and rethinking plans, rather than impulsive action. The Sun joins Mars in mid-November, amplifying identity and purpose. This Mars-Sun conjunction enhances confidence, leadership, and motivation, providing opportunities for recognition. Ego or power struggles, particularly in professional or familial settings, may surface. Balancing assertiveness with humility ensures success. When Venus enters Scorpio later in November and conjoins Mars, personal magnetism peaks. Venus softens Mars' aggression, blending passion with charm, improving romance, creativity, and emotional expression. For couples, intimacy deepens, though possessiveness or jealousy may emerge if insecurities persist. Single Scorpios may encounter new romantic or emotional connections. The Mars-Venus conjunction symbolizes rebirth, balancing desire with emotional authenticity. Jupiter, exalted in Cancer in your ninth house of higher wisdom, luck, and long-distance journeys, aspects your first house, offering guidance, protection, and purpose. Jupiter tempers Mars' volatility, infusing actions with vision and faith, encouraging wisdom over impulse. It's auspicious for travel, learning, or spiritual growth. When Jupiter turns retrograde on November 11th, introspection deepens, prioritizing inner alignment with personal beliefs and ambitions over external expansion. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces, your fifth house of creativity, romance, and children, continues to impart discipline, patience, and emotional maturity. Although progress in creative or romantic pursuits may have slowed, Saturn turning direct on November 28th brings clarity. Mars in your first house works synergistically with Saturn in the fifth, encouraging practical, focused steps toward long-term goals. Saturn stabilizes Mars' ignited drive, ensuring sustainable progress. Emotionally, this transit is transformative. Mars in your first house brings buried emotions and desires to the surface, urging confrontation and authenticity. Initial introspection, privacy, or defensiveness will evolve into empowerment. You reclaim personal strength, redefine boundaries, and learn to shed old identities. Scorpio's energy necessitates caution against controlling or vengeful behaviors. Forgiveness and release of resentment are key to balance. In relationships, Mars' rulership over the seventh from first house, Taurus, emphasizes passion and intensity, but also potential volatility. You may demand honesty and emotional depth from partners or attract individuals mirroring your intensity. Open, non-dominant communication is essential. Venus' later conjunction with Mars facilitates reconciliation, emotional bonding, and mutual transformation. Career-wise, Mars empowers initiative and authority. Leadership shines, prompting bold decisions and new ventures. Mercury's retrograde phase calls for patience before signing agreements. Jupiter ensures effort yields results when guided by integrity and vision. Saturn's direct motion stabilizes these efforts, turning drive into tangible achievements. Financially, opportunities and expenditures coexist. Mars encourages self-driven earning, yet impulsive spending is possible. Jupiter supports ventures in foreign business, education, or consulting, while Mercury retrograde cautions against hasty decisions. Careful planning is advised, especially between November 10th and 29th. Health benefits from Mars energy, yet increased heat, restlessness, and susceptibility to inflammation or blood pressure fluctuations warrant attention. Discipline in fitness and stress management, alongside emotional balance, is important. Emotional suppression can manifest physically, making self-care essential. Spiritually, this is a period of rebirth. Mars urges confrontation with personal power, fear, and purpose, shedding self-doubt to embrace transformation. Jupiter provides divine guidance, and Saturn ensures grounded evolution, cultivating wisdom alongside courage. By December, as Mars leaves Scorpio, profound inner transformation is achieved. You emerge more confident, self-aware, and in control of destiny. Ambitions are sharpened, emotional and spiritual strength awakened. Mars returns home to remind you of your resilience, leadership, and pursuit of truth. Challenges faced during this period refine and empower, leaving you stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace the next chapter with renewed passion and purpose. For Sagittarius, Mars' transit through Scorpio marks a deeply transformative and introspective period. Mars, the planet of action, courage, and drive, governs your fifth house of creativity, love, and intelligence, as well as your 12th house of isolation, spirituality, subconscious, and foreign lands. When Mars moves through the 12th house in its own sign, it brings intense focus on inner healing, emotional release, and spiritual awakening. This is not a time for outward expansion but for turning inward, to confront suppressed emotions, hidden fears, and unresolved karmic issues. Mars in Scorpio pushes you to deal with what has been buried deep within. This transit activates the unseen area of your chart, governing solitude, meditation, and the subconscious. You may feel a strong need to withdraw temporarily from the outer world to regain clarity and strength. Introspection, restlessness, and self-questioning are likely, as Mars can stir inner conflicts or bring unresolved patterns to light. Dreams may become vivid or even prophetic, revealing what your conscious mind has ignored. This is an excellent phase for spiritual practice, therapy, or creative work requiring solitude and emotional depth. Yet, since Mars is fiery and impulsive, it can make your inner world turbulent if not managed consciously. Sleep disturbances, overthinking, or hidden anxieties may arise, urging attention to mental and emotional well-being. As ruler of your fifth house, Mars stirs passions and creative imagination, though often privately. Energy may be channeled into art, writing, or spiritual study, offering an outlet for emotions and imagination. Romantic matters may become private, secretive, or karmic. Hidden attractions or past life connections could resurface, drawing you into emotional depths unexpectedly. The 12th house often brings relationships that teach detachment or spiritual growth rather than conventional commitment. For those in relationships, this transit encourages introspection about love, enabling deep healing if handled honestly. Mars in the 12th house also rules foreign lands and distant journeys. Many Sagittarius individuals may find this period favorable for travel abroad, for work, study, or retreat. The 12th house also relates to expenditure and loss, making wise financial management essential. Sudden or unnecessary expenses may arise due to travel, health, or luxury indulgence. Planning ahead and focusing spending on what nurtures growth or peace of mind is advisable. During its stay in Scorpio, Mars forms conjunctions with Mercury, the Sun, and Venus, influencing your mind differently. Mercury sharpens the mind but can turn thoughts obsessive or restless. Strong intuitions or flashes of insight may arise, alongside overanalysis or worry about unseen issues. Mercury retrogrades in Scorpio on November 10th, temporarily moving back into Libra before turning direct on November 29th. This warns against hasty communication or decisions. Misunderstandings, secrets, or hidden motives may surface, making this an excellent time for introspection and strategy reassessment rather than impulsive action. When the Sun joins Mars in mid-November, it illuminates your subconscious. The Sun represents self-awareness, confidence, and insight, helping you see through illusions or hidden fears. This pairing can increase sensitivity, secrecy, or burnout if emotions are suppressed. You may crave solitude and feel less social, as your soul seeks peace rather than recognition. Professionally, it highlights behind-the-scenes work or projects requiring strategic planning. Intuition becomes sharp, allowing you to sense opportunities or threats before they manifest. Later, Venus joins Mars toward the end of November, deepening your emotional and sensual nature. Venus softens Mars' intensity, blending passion with compassion. This conjunction can rekindle secret affections or inspire creative breakthroughs, and may bring emotional closure and love. Since the 12th house signifies letting go, this combination encourages releasing emotional baggage and embracing forgiveness. Jupiter's exalted transit in Cancer plays a supportive role throughout this period. From your 8th house of transformation, shared resources, and hidden truths, Jupiter aspects Scorpio, blessing your 12th house with wisdom and protection. While Mars pushes you to confront hidden pain, Jupiter ensures this confrontation leads to growth rather than self-destruction. It's a powerful time for inner regeneration, therapy, or study of esoteric subjects like psychology, healing, or mysticism. The 8th to 12th house connection activated by Jupiter and Mars signifies deep karmic cleansing. What ends now is meant to free you for a higher purpose. When Jupiter turns retrograde on November 11th, introspection deepens, revisiting old emotional wounds or spiritual doubts, ultimately strengthening faith and resilience. Meanwhile, Saturn's retrograde in Pisces, the 4th house of emotional foundation, family, and inner peace, continues to influence stability. You may have been reassessing domestic life, emotional boundaries, or family responsibilities. Saturn teaches emotional discipline and calm amidst uncertainty. As Saturn turns direct on November 28th, clarity returns, enabling practical decisions about home, family, or emotional health. The connection between Saturn in the 4th and Mars in the 12th emphasizes balancing inner reflection with external responsibility. Solitude may be desired, but escapism must be avoided. Saturn grounds the intense emotions stirred by Mars, allowing them to be processed with maturity. Career-wise, Mars in the 12th house can reduce outward ambition. Quiet work, behind-the-scenes projects, research, or preparation for future goals can be fruitful. Jupiter ensures efforts, even if unnoticed, will pay off later. For those in creative, healing, or spiritual professions, this period can be highly productive. In competitive fields, moments of low motivation or inner conflict may occur. Rather than forcing progress, focus on strategy, rest, and vision building. Clarity gained now will guide your next major step when Mars moves into Sagittarius in December. Financially, Mars in the 12th house often correlates with higher expenses or hidden financial activity. Investment in spiritual pursuits, healing, or travel is likely. Avoid impulsive spending, especially when Venus joins Mars, as desires may cloud judgment. Health requires care, as the 12th house governs subconscious and hidden ailments. Mars may manifest stress-related issues, disturbed sleep, or inflammation. Rest, meditation, and detoxification are essential. Emotionally and spiritually, this transit is purifying. Mars brings suppressed emotions, anger, guilt, fear, or grief, to the surface, forcing confrontation. This challenging process is transformative, shedding old layers of identity and karmic residue. In relationships, Mars in the 12th house can create introspection and emotional distance. Space may be needed to understand feelings. Hidden issues may surface, requiring transparency and healing. Venus joining Mars later facilitates reconciliation through empathy and honest communication. If relationships no longer align with spiritual growth, this transit may bring closure and acceptance. By the time Mars completes its journey through Scorpio and enters your sign in December, a significant emotional and karmic release will have occurred. This introspective period prepares you for a new beginning, a rebirth of confidence, clarity, and vitality. Mars' 12th house transit may feel like a tunnel of introspection, but the light at the end signifies awakening. You'll emerge stronger, wiser, and spiritually renewed. For Capricorn, Mars transit through Scorpio, your 11th house of gains, ambitions, social connections, and long-term goals, ushers in a highly dynamic, goal-oriented phase. Mars, ruling both your 4th house of home and emotional security and the 11th house itself, becomes a major force, infusing your life with drive, determination, and a hunger for progress. In its own sign of Scorpio, Mars activates your social and professional networks, encouraging bold steps toward achieving material success, recognition, and the fulfillment of cherished aspirations. The 11th house governs friendships, communities, achievements, and income from profession. Mars transit here intensifies your desire to expand influence and financial growth. You may proactively pursue opportunities, collaborate with influential people, or lead a group or project. Mars in Scorpio is magnetic, attracting support from those aligned with your vision, including powerful, passionate, or strategic individuals. Its aggressive energy can also trigger competitiveness or friction within social circles. Some allies may turn into rivals, and teamwork may require patience and diplomacy. Since Mars rules your 4th house, matters of home and inner security influence your outer ambitions. You may feel motivated to strengthen your base, emotionally or financially, so you can pursue professional and social goals with focus. Mars can drive efforts toward better living standards, property improvements, or securing family comfort. The connection between your 4th and 11th houses indicates that inner peace is tied to success and recognition. Restlessness or emotional tension may arise until major goals are achieved. Careful pacing is important to avoid overexertion or burnout, as Mars in Scorpio can push you relentlessly. Financially, this is one of the most promising transits of the year. The 11th house represents gains, bonuses, and rewards for past efforts, and Mars energizes this sector, bringing strong inflows or lucrative opportunities. Business ventures, side projects, or collaborations can be profitable. Jupiter's exalted aspect from Cancer, your 7th house, amplifies prospects by attracting wise partners, loyal clients, and beneficial contracts. Alliances formed now can multiply success if clarity and fairness are maintained. Mars' impulsiveness advises against speculative or risky ventures. Strategic handling can yield remarkable financial results, stabilizing your long-term future. Mars conjunctions with Mercury, the Sun, and Venus during its stay in Scorpio create layered influences on your goals, communication, and social image. When Mars joins Mercury, your communication becomes assertive and strategic. You may take charge of discussions, negotiations, or team matters. Mercury's retrograde from November 10th to 29th may bring delays, revisions in agreements, or collaboration challenges. Avoid rushing decisions and review communications carefully, as misunderstandings or power dynamics may surface. The Sun represents authority and recognition, and its union with Mars in your 11th house fuels determination to assert individuality in group settings. Opportunities to lead projects, represent organizations, or boldly advocate your beliefs may arise. Yet, this combination can trigger ego clashes or overconfidence. Balancing ambition with humility ensures that collaborative success lasts longer than victories gained through domination. When Venus joins Mars later in the transit, social and professional relationships gain warmth and charm. Venus softens Mars' aggression, encouraging cooperation and shared success. You may attract influential or supportive individuals who help advance your goals. Romantic possibilities may arise within social or professional networks. Venus also rules your 10th house of career, and this alignment may bring recognition or creative fulfillment through work. Partnerships begun under this influence may have a karmic dimension, connecting you to people who inspire growth or challenge your understanding of love and loyalty. From the 7th house, Jupiter aspects Scorpio, blessing your 11th house of gains and achievements. This aspect expands your reach, strengthens reputation, and nurtures business partnerships and alliances. Efforts now attract not just financial, but moral rewards. Mentors or allies may support your vision, or leadership roles may allow you to positively influence others. When Jupiter turns retrograde on November 11th, focus shifts inward for reassessment of long-term strategies, goals, and relationships. This is ideal for refining plans, renegotiating partnerships, and reconnecting with past allies to secure future progress once Jupiter turns direct. Saturn positioned in your 3rd house of communication, courage, and initiative. Retrograde Saturn tests your discipline in expressing ideas and managing daily responsibilities. Hesitations or delays in asserting opinions may occur, but Saturn's direct motion on November 28th restores confidence and structure. Saturn's discipline, combined with Mars' drive, creates the ideal foundation for executing ambitions effectively, turning big dreams into tangible outcomes. Career-wise, Mars in your 11th house brings recognition and progress. Leadership roles, appreciation from authorities, and rewards for past efforts may manifest. Promotions, business expansions, or major project completions gain momentum. Jupiter's aspect ensures actions attract favorable attention from influential figures. Yet, Mars conjunctions with Mercury and the Sun caution against impulsive decisions, workplace conflicts, or power struggles. Maintaining professionalism and pragmatic diplomacy is essential. Emotionally, Mars heightens passion and determination but may trigger control issues or impatience if outcomes lag. The 11th house relates to expectations, and frustrations may arise when results do not match vision. Jupiter's wisdom encourages patience and long-term thinking, reminding you that lasting success takes time. With Mars ruling your 4th house, inner peace and family harmony are vital. Balancing ambition with rest, family time, and emotional grounding prevents burnout. Health-wise, vitality and motivation increase, though stress-related issues may occur. Mars intensity may manifest as high energy or irritability. Regular exercise or meditation helps channel this energy constructively. Jupiter's aspect minimizes major health risks. Socially, your circle may expand with inspiring or influential individuals. Mars enhances visibility and charisma, but also attracts competition. Choose alliances wisely. Friendships may deepen or dissolve due to differing ambitions. Mars, Venus, and Mercury create opportunities to network, collaborate, and communicate effectively if transparency and humility are maintained. The 11th house of hope and manifestation allows Mars' determination to convert dreams into reality. Jupiter's exaltation ensures divine timing aligns your efforts with karmic growth. Saturn's direct motion at November's end grounds vision, enabling inspiration to translate into tangible outcomes. By the end of Mars' Scorpio transit, Capricorn individuals will experience a surge in drive, ambition, and visibility. Projects launched now may reach significant milestones, expanding social and professional influence. This period is not merely about gains, it is about redefining success. Mars in Scorpio encourages you to pursue goals aligned with your values. The rewards of this transit enhance status and wealth while fostering inner satisfaction, knowing that your hard work, strategy, and integrity have established the foundation for enduring prosperity and respect. For Aquarius, Mars transit through Scorpio, the 10th house of career, public image, and authority, marks a powerful cycle of ambition and transformation. Mars, ruler of both your 3rd house of courage and 10th house of profession, holds immense sway over your drive, initiative, and achievements. As it moves through its own sign Scorpio, this energy becomes intensely focused, strategic, and purpose-driven. Between late October and December 2025, your attention centers on professional advancement, recognition, and personal authority. It's a time of opportunity and visibility, but also one that demands composure and emotional maturity. Mars in the 10th house acts like a commander on the battlefield of life, motivating you to take charge of your direction. You'll feel renewed ambition, responsibility, and the urge to prove yourself. In Scorpio, Mars grants deep focus, resilience, and a fearless approach to challenges. You'll pursue goals with determination, showing leadership and stamina, though at times preferring to strategize quietly before acting. Since Mars also governs your third house, communication and courage directly influence your professional growth. You may take bold initiatives, voice strong opinions, or adopt innovative methods to advance your work. If self-employed, this phase boosts your authority and independence, though friction with superiors or bureaucratic systems is possible. Mars heightens impatience toward restrictions, so diplomacy and timing will be key to success. The 10th house also governs public reputation. Mars here amplifies your hunger for achievement and recognition. Yet Scorpio's depth demands authenticity. Quick victories won't satisfy. You may face events that force a professional transformation, a shift in role, management, or life direction that compels reinvention. Workplace politics or power struggles could surface, but the key lies in strategic calmness. Emotional reactivity can harm progress, while composed focus will establish lasting influence. When Mars aligns with Mercury, your intellect sharpens and communication grows persuasive, ideal for negotiation and problem solving. But Mercury retrogrades in Scorpio on November 10th. Expect temporary confusion, delays, or miscommunication in professional matters. Avoid hasty emails or commitments. Instead, refine strategies and review contracts. Once Mercury moves direct, your clarity and confidence return, helping solidify decisions. The Sun-Mars conjunction mid-transit magnifies ambition and visibility. The Sun represents authority and vitality. When it joins Mars in the 10th, your leadership and determination reach a peak. Recognition, promotion, or major breakthroughs may follow. Yet, ego conflicts or competition with bosses are possible if you assert dominance too forcefully. Balancing confidence with humility ensures success. This period can bring career-defining progress if you manage stress and avoid burnout. Scorpio's intensity can easily push you toward overexertion. Later, Venus enters Scorpio, softening Mars' edge and adding diplomacy, charm, and cooperation to your work relationships. Partnerships, networking, and alliances become instrumental in your success. Venus blends creativity and strategy, helping you attract opportunities that align with your passions. Some may even experience workplace romance or creative collaborations that inspire growth, though discretion is advised, as Scorpio favors privacy and intensity in relationships. A significant supportive influence comes from Jupiter exalted in Cancer, aspecting Scorpio from your 6th house. Jupiter's expansive energy provides protection, helping you overcome competition and obstacles. It rewards ethical effort and ensures your ambition stays aligned with higher principles. Mentors or guides may appear, offering valuable wisdom. When Jupiter turns retrograde on November 11th, you may revisit earlier goals, refine your ethics, or reconnect with previous mentors or jobs. This internal reflection aligns your ambitions with your deeper sense of purpose, rather than pure status or validation. Saturn, your ruling planet, continues its retrograde in Pisces, the 2nd house of finances and values, emphasizing patience and careful planning. This has been a period of introspection about money, self-worth, and stability. When Saturn turns direct on November 28th, clarity and structure return. The combination of Saturn's discipline and Mars' assertiveness creates a powerful time for implementing grounded, long-term strategies. You'll feel motivated to solidify achievements through consistent effort, making decisions that bring sustainable success. Another major influence is Rahu's ongoing transit through Aquarius, your own sign, which magnifies individuality and innovation. Rahu heightens ambition, risk-taking, and futuristic thinking, while Mars energizes your 10th house of public standing. Together, they amplify your leadership potential and drive for unique expression. You may pursue unconventional projects or forge new professional paths. Rahu can also breed impulsiveness or overconfidence, so remaining ethical and grounded is essential. Used wisely, this combination can make late 2025 a breakthrough phase in your career and personal evolution. Professionally, this transit can bring swift progress, recognition, and transformation. You might gain promotions, new clients, or leadership opportunities that test both your intellect and emotional strength. Entrepreneurs may expand their ventures or take calculated risks that yield long-term rewards. Mars in Scorpio rewards effort, discipline, and emotional intelligence, qualities that will define your reputation during this time. After Mercury turns direct at the end of November, delayed projects begin moving forward, and decisions yield tangible results. Financially, the transit favors gains through career success and recognition. New contracts or increased responsibilities can enhance income. Still, Jupiter's retrograde in the 6th warns against careless spending or overcommitment. Manage debts, taxes, and expenses prudently. As Saturn moves direct, financial steadiness improves, helping you secure your long-term position. Mars in Scorpio awakens deep passion and drive but can also generate restlessness if progress feels slow. You may need to confront your relationship with power and authority, learning when to assert and when to yield. Since Mars rules communication for you, expressing your ideas assertively yet respectfully can prevent conflicts. Avoid gossip or resentment. Instead, channel emotional energy into constructive projects that advance your ambitions. Health-wise, Mars enhances vitality but may also push you to physical or mental exhaustion through overwork. The 10th house governs bones and posture, areas that may need extra care under Saturn's influence. Regular rest, mindful exercise, and balance between work and personal time are important. Relationships may feel the ripple effects of your career focus. You might become more assertive or goal-oriented, creating emotional distance if your partner feels overlooked. Since Rahu in Aquarius enhances magnetism, you may attract new admirers or intense connections, though boundaries must remain clear to avoid distraction or reputation issues. By the end of Mars' journey through Scorpio, you'll have navigated challenges that reshape both your career and self-perception. Every test faced during this period will strengthen your confidence and refine your sense of purpose. Professionally, visibility and respect increase. Personally, you gain a deeper understanding of ambition, discipline, and balance. Mars in the 10th house lights a fire that forges enduring success, transforming ambition into mastery and purpose into power. For Pisces, Mars transit through Scorpio, your 9th house of luck, higher wisdom, destiny, travel, and divine protection, marks a transformative and spiritually charged phase. Mars, ruling your 2nd and 9th houses, links wealth, family, values, and speech with philosophy, learning, and fortune. As it moves through its own sign, Scorpio, Mars ignites a fiery quest for truth and expansion. This is a period of profound change in your beliefs, worldview, and life direction. You may feel driven to take bold risks, pursue higher studies, travel abroad, or explore subjects that deepen your consciousness. Mars here demands conviction and depth in every step. Because the 9th house symbolizes faith and destiny, Mars acts as a spiritual catalyst. Situations may test your beliefs, pushing you to redefine what truth means to you. You'll feel compelled to take control of your destiny rather than rely on fate. Students and seekers of specialized knowledge gain sharp focus and discipline, particularly in fields like law, philosophy, psychology, astrology, or metaphysics. Scorpio adds emotional intensity to intellectual pursuits, transforming curiosity into obsession until the hidden truth is revealed. Mars' rulership of your 2nd house ties this transit to finances, speech, and family values. You may seek earnings through education, publishing, or international ventures. Some could profit from teaching, writing, or spiritual guidance. Mars' impulsive nature can trigger hasty financial decisions, avoid speculative investments, or emotional spending. The 9th house represents morals, so ethical integrity in money matters is vital. Shortcuts or greed can lead to setbacks under Scorpio's watchful transformation. This phase may also inspire travel or exploration. You might feel a restless urge to move beyond familiar spaces, perhaps through foreign travel, retreats, or pilgrimages. Yet Scorpio's fixed nature makes such journeys purposeful, linked to healing, research, or self-discovery rather than leisure. Encounters with mentors, teachers, or foreigners can catalyze transformation. Mars ensures these experiences are active and challenging, pushing you to expand courageously. As Mars moves through Scorpio, it forms conjunctions with Mercury, the Sun, and Venus, creating dynamic developments. When Mars unites with Mercury, intellect and speech sharpen, you'll communicate with passion and conviction. Mercury's November retrograde, briefly backtracking into Libra, may bring delays in academic, legal, or travel-related matters. Use this time to review goals and plans. Reflection will bring clarity and direction. The Mars-Sun conjunction mid-transit amplifies willpower and self-belief. The Sun governs purpose and visibility, while Mars provides drive and assertion. Together, they empower you to pursue long-term ambitions boldly, often attracting recognition from mentors or authority figures. This combination can also cause ego clashes or ideological tension. Practice humility and flexibility to avoid conflicts. Later, Venus joins Mars in Scorpio, softening intensity with grace and emotional depth. Venus brings charm, diplomacy, and appreciation for art, culture, and beauty. This influence helps you express your beliefs with warmth and attract harmony in interactions. Some may experience romantic connections through education, travel, or spiritual circles. Venus transforms Mars' assertiveness into magnetism, allowing you to share wisdom through love, art, or teaching. Jupiter's exalted position in Cancer from your 5th house offers powerful support. Its aspect on your 9th house blesses learning, travel, and spiritual growth. Jupiter enhances Mars' efforts, ensuring that even challenges lead to higher understanding. When Jupiter turns retrograde on November 11th, you may revisit past studies, mentors, or teachings. This reflection strengthens your belief system before expanding further. Meanwhile, Saturn retrograde in Pisces, your 1st house, adds introspection and discipline. You've been refining your identity, patience, and endurance. As Saturn turns direct on November 28th, self-clarity returns. Combined with Mars' 9th house drive, this creates balance between idealism and realism. You'll align your philosophy with your evolving purpose, grounding your vision in practical growth. Since Mars rules your 2nd house of speech, communication becomes powerful during this period. You may express beliefs boldly, but must avoid rigidity or confrontation, especially near the Sun conjunction. Speak with conviction yet compassion. Scorpio's depth and Pisces' empathy can make your words deeply transformative. This transit may also redefine relationships with teachers, mentors, or father figures. Mars encourages independence from outdated guidance, prompting you to question old ideologies. The goal isn't rebellion but liberation from beliefs that no longer reflect your truth. By the end of this transit, you'll hold a mature, experiential philosophy rooted in authenticity rather than inherited faith. Professionally, Mars' passage through the 9th house can open global or educational opportunities. You may engage in publishing, teaching, consulting, or digital ventures. Since Mars connects the 2nd and 9th houses, finances may improve through intellectual or ethical leadership. Long-term projects could gain momentum, especially after Mercury turns direct in late November. Confidence and intuition will peak, guiding bold yet wise career decisions. Emotionally, Mars in Scorpio awakens passion for growth but can cause inner restlessness if direction feels unclear. You might swing between optimism and doubt, faith and intensity. Channel this energy through constructive outlets, travel, study, writing, or meditation. Creative or spiritual practices will balance emotions, while connection to nature or sacred rituals deepens your inner peace. In relationships, this transit brings transformative experiences. You could meet people from diverse backgrounds whose perspectives reshape your understanding of love and faith. Romantic bonds formed now may feel faded or deeply karmic. Mars and patience can spark ideological friction. Venus' later influence restores balance, teaching that differences in belief enrich emotional depth rather than divide. Financially, Mars' rulership of your 2nd house favors earnings through education, consulting, or international ventures. Avoid reckless spending or moral shortcuts. Saturn's presence demands accountability. With patience and discipline, efforts now lead to stable gains. Jupiter's blessings protect finances if your actions align with ethical intent. Health-wise, vitality strengthens, but Mars' intensity may cause fatigue from travel or overexertion. Scorpio's emotional depth can affect physical energy, making rest and mindfulness essential. Balanced routines, good sleep, and physical activity will sustain endurance. Since Saturn remains in your sign, disciplined health habits are key to resilience. Spiritually, this transit marks a profound awakening. Mars in Scorpio pushes you to confront fears or beliefs blocking evolution. You may explore mysticism, occult wisdom, or philosophies revealing life's deeper truths. Jupiter's exalted aspect ensures that your pursuit leads to enlightenment, not confusion. Mars provides courage, Jupiter offers guidance. Together they light your path toward higher consciousness. By the end of Mars' journey through Scorpio, you'll feel more empowered and aligned with your destiny. Faith and purpose evolve from theory into lived wisdom. This transit reveals that true fortune arises when courage meets conviction. Whether through travel, study, or self-transformation, Mars in Scorpio propels you toward a renewed path of strength, clarity, and spiritual purpose. As we conclude this episode, please keep in mind that these insights are based on the Sidereal Zodiac system used in Vedic Astrology, which differs from the tropical system by approximately 24 degrees. These are general predictions, and outcomes will vary depending on your individual birth chart. The influence of transits is deeply shaped by your ongoing dasha periods and the specific placement of planets in your natal chart. What may be a time of progress for one person could mark a period of reflection or challenge for another. This is why it's essential to interpret transits within the context of your unique chart. If you're seeking a more personalized understanding of how current transits may impact you, or if you have specific questions about your birth chart, feel free to reach out to us. If you found this content helpful, please consider liking the video, sharing it with others who may benefit, and subscribing to our channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates. Thank you for watching. We look forward to continuing to share deeper astrological insights with you. Until next time, stay aware, keep learning, and keep shining bright.